From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on LALATE.
It's a big noontime here on LALATE with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check of 2021. In this update about your fourth stimulus check today, we go over the monthly stimulus check, how much you're going to get and when you're going to get it, and why the breaking news today and all this week has been incredibly great. We'll go over why the House proposal versus Senate proposal line up and how the push to get it over the finish line could have a vote earlier than expected. Oh yes, very exciting, great news. Then we turn to the fifth stimulus package, which heats up this fall. That is the SSI and SSDI Social Security, Railroad, and Veterans benefits that will be lifted up one big time. But there also will be a new benchmark, and that's inflation. And that inflationary rate signaled this week and today could be much higher. Incredible details. Then we go over the breaking news that impacts your fourth stimulus and the big money land in your bank account today, this weekend, and next week, tens of thousands of dollars. And it's hitting across the land. I have all the incredible great details on a big noontime. The toast was toasting, the butter was buttering, but now the surf is surfing, and we're going into fourth stimulus right on the wave. This is Noontime LALATE. Good noontime, everybody. This is LALATE. How are you doing? How's the weather where you are? Tell me where you're tuning in from, and tell me how the weather is doing where you're watching. It's pleasant today in Santa Monica. Quite sunny, as you can notice. Not particularly hot. Actually, a little bit cooler today with a cool breeze coming in. So how's the weather where you're tuning in? This is LALATE with your big fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today. In this recording, we go over the monthly stimulus check, how much you're going to get, when you're going to get it, and why the breaking news this week signals that the vote could be sooner than we anticipated. Oh, wow. We'll go more over that incredible letter from Jalapal, which viewers and members of this channel have gotten, and we'll go over the breaking news that happened today about the corporate tax rate, which is one of the big issues behind the fourth stimulus package. All incredible great news. Then we'll cut in the second half of the recording to fifth stimulus, which is that SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, Veterans benefits, and Survivor benefits that are lifted up one time and then added a benchmark, inflation. We'll go over the new news about inflation and why that number could be a lot higher and your benefits could soar through the roof lifetime. Then we go over the breaking news and how it impacts your fourth stimulus and the standalone money land in your bank account this week. I got a lot of money in this recording, so get a pen and paper ready and stay to the very end. This is LALATE. Your incredible breaking details across the board, from Wall Street to Main Street, the only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel. I don't want you to miss a single recording across the board, so subscribe. Also, like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Links in the top of the chat and the pinned comment. Let's get to the breaking details, starting right now. Your fourth stimulus heats up with two proposals, the House versus Senate. And now it's important to see who wrote the House proposal. It was Jalapal. Jalapal is a name you want to remember because we're going to get to that in a second. But the House proposal provides stimulus checks for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. So let's go over how much you're going to get, who you're going to get it from, and how the proposals are slightly different across the board. The House proposal provides a stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. The Senate proposal provides a stimulus check from July to December. If you're in the live chat just after 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 o'clock on the East Coast, get ready to vote House versus Senate, but not just yet. We got to go over those monthly amounts. House proposal provides a stimulus check for $1,000 after the first month. The Senate provides stimulus checks of an amount unknown. But word on the street, that monthly amount is this. Wow. Incredible great news. $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000. Incredible. Or $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400. This is per person. Now, let's look back at why we need to understand that the House proposal may not be as good as it initially looked. Don't vote yet. Pandemic plus 1 year is the House proposal from Jalapal. Well, here's the issue, is that many believe legislatively the pandemic may be over when the House votes on the bill. That's in July. Well, if the House votes and the pandemic is over, then that would mean that the House proposal is 12 months of stimulus checks, which amount to $13,000 over 12 months, compared to the Senate proposal, which is nearly the same amount, over half the time, 6 months. So now vote in the live chat, Senate versus House. You suddenly see how that is all changing across the board based upon when the pandemic ends, not when the virus ends, but when the pandemic ends for legislative purposes. A week ago, the CDC lifted the mask mandate, and today, New York opened its first new park since the pandemic. No masks, because New York lifted the mask mandate in continuation of the CDC's guidelines. No masks outside or inside if you're vaccinated. New York lifted the mask mandate across the entire state of New York on Wednesday, and today it opened its major first new park, a floating park with no masks on hand. So that could signal the end of the mask mandate across the country, and certainly the end of the pandemic by the time of the vote of the bill. Suddenly, the Senate proposal looks better. All right, let's go over how much you're going to get and when you're going to get it and how you're going to get it, starting right now. First, who gets it? You do. You get the fourth stimulus check. If you make less than $75,000, you get the fourth stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000 or less, you get the fourth stimulus check. Just double it. And if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, you get the fourth stimulus check. It is not income, so it's not taxable. The fourth stimulus check would not come out in waves, where a check comes a different day every week for different people. We can't do that. There's no time. It's coming one check per month. Remember, I'm not a legislator. It's their representations, not mine. I'm a reporter. And they represent that the vote would be in the month of July, starting in the month of July. So that means you would get the first month of check in July for July, then August in August. It's a two-step, 2-month process, already underway, nearly finished with the writing and the drafting of the language. All they need is the vote. So when's the vote? They say July. But I'm going to show you what they said this week, which could signal that the vote and your checks are coming even sooner. Remember, every month is another check. So if they got this out a month earlier, it would give you more money. Wow, that exciting, great news coming up in the second half of this recording, or in the middle of the recording. But let's go to what's happening in the second half of this recording. In the fall, in September, a two-step, 2-month process starts again, and that's for a fifth stimulus. That involves your raising of your benefits. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, there you go. But they're going to add an inflationary benchmark. And a week ago today, a leading economist for the Wharton School of Business came out and said, I think the inflationary rate may be 20%. Wow, that could mean your benefits go through the roof, 20% additionally a lifetime. But I'll be circling back to the new data to suggest inflation will go up, and we'll see how high it's going to go. Now let's get to the meat and potatoes of the big money land your bank account. Some automatic, something you have to do. And the other breaking news starting right now. Get that pen and paper ready because I got a lot of money for you. Stay to the very end. Let's get to the great news starting right now. When the third stimulus was passed, I told you there was $5,000 to $20,000 of money available for you. Well, and to be prepared for when it lands, it is now landing. It started landing this week and landing next week. So get ready to pounce and get it. And that is $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 of money, starting with rent. Rent is about $5,000, 4 to 6 months of rent, so go get it. It's available in 6 locations, and if one says no, go to the next one. They all have different qualifications and different agencies and different allotments of money. And where are those 6 locations? Your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, and your state hall and your state housing authority. How much money can you get? About $5,000, about 4 to 6 months of rent. And then there's money for utilities, which is a couple $100 to a couple $1,000. Next, there is money for mortgage assistance and homeowners help on utilities. Go get it. Then there is money for SNAP. It's absolutely incredible, great news. I don't go a single day where a viewer says, thank you, I got money for rent and I got money for SNAP. SNAP has been the real big success story of this channel for 2021. How much money is SNAP? It's a lot of money. What is SNAP? It is money for food, administered by the Department of Agriculture, DOA. So reach out to DOA to get that money. Call 211 if you can't reach DOA directly yourself. And how much money can you get? A family of four in Hawaii can now get upwards of $16,000 a year because of SNAP. It's incredible. Why is it so much? It's because of two executive orders. One from Trump, raising your benefits 15%, and one from Biden, raising another 15% for 1 year totally. So it's now raised 15% from January to December. Go get it. There you go. $5,000 for rent, about $16,000 for SNAP if you're in Hawaii, and we are only 10 minutes into this video, and we're doing really well. But it brings me now to an important reality check, tough love moment. And the first one, actually one of three, is this: that the money for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and rent and homeowners help is first come, first serve. So go get it first before the stimulus stampede comes in. When I mentioned this first in January, I said you have to be a purple hawk, and get that money before anyone else. Because the stimulus stampede, an expression I coined, referring to people rushing to get the money, is going to come and try to get it before you. So get it very quickly. Number two is that this money won't be offered again. It's not coming back in for stimulus. So rent, homeowners assistance, utilities, mortgage help, eviction protection, they are not getting extended under forced stimulus. So the renter's eviction moratorium is going away. The mortgage forbearance is going away. And the concept behind that for Democrats was to give you money for rent and utilities and these other items now so you're caught up on your bills before they lift those orders in the next few weeks. So go get them. All right, time for some automatic money. We love automatic money on this channel, and it starts with not one but two of them. I'm really excited for you. The first one is thousands of dollars. One viewer said they're getting $5,000 back. Congratulations. So where is this money coming from? Let me go over what it is, how you're going to get it, and when you're going to get it. All right, what is it? It is money from your state. It's thousands of dollars. Where states overpaid you unemployment benefits, then asked you to return it back to them, now they have been ordered to return it back to you. Yes. So the federal government has stepped in and said, states that had overpaid you benefits, and then due to a computer glitch, no fault of your own, and then reached out to you and said, return it back to us, they have now been ordered to return it back to you. So let's go over an example. If a state paid you unemployment benefits anytime in the last year, and then suddenly there was a big extra payment that it makes sense, and then they reached out to you and said, oh, we had a computer glitch, return the money back to us, and you did, then that is the money they have been now ordered to return back to you. Which brings me then to how are you going to get it? In the account that you have on file with your Department of Unemployment. Finally, when are you going to get it? It depends on the state. So reach out to your individual state. They all have different routing times. One viewer told me that he's getting back $5,000, but asked me what's the routing time on his state. Every state is different. So reach out to your respective state. Great news with that one. Which brings us to the other one, another automatic sum of money landing. And this one's coming from the federal government, IRS, Treasury. Let's go over how much it is, how you're going to get it, and when you're going to get it. All right, how much is it? It is the amount of taxes you paid on your unemployment to the federal government. So here's an example. Let's say you paid let's say you had $9,000 of unemployment benefits last year, $9,000. You paid a total IRS tax bill of $5,000, of which $4,000 was your tax bill for just unemployment. Guess what? You're getting back a check of $4,000. Incredible, great news. So then how are you getting the check? Two ways, the mail or direct deposit. It is rarely in direct deposit, only if you list it on the 2020 tax return. Otherwise, it's in the mail. Beige envelope, white envelope, inside beige check from IRS or Treasury, subject line refund. Incredible, great news. And finally, when are you receiving it? 3 phases IRS has identified to us. Phase 1 is being paid throughout this week. It's already started last week. So phase 1 should end about now. Phase 2 starts about today and goes into next week. And phase 3 is the final week of May. Everyone gets paid in the month of May. So what is phase 1? Phase 1 is single filers, simple tax returns, no dependents, no other refunds. Phase 2 is single filers, complex returns. And phase 3 is joint filers, like husband and wife. Incredible, great news. So there you go, automatic money. I'm really excited for you. So now let's turn to the breaking news across the board that impacts your forced stimulus. Breaking news today, breaking news from yesterday, which you still need to know, and what you should anticipate for the weekend. So, wow, what a day it was. We started with the breaking news that the efforts of Janet Yellen, your Treasury Secretary, to seek a global minimum tax rate may be working. The great news is we're finally seeing a number. We had not heard a number. What is a global tax rate? It is to prevent banks and businesses from moving their corporations overseas where the corporate tax rate is lower because of the looming forced stimulus package. What will be the proposed corporate tax rate? The lowest level, 15%, which is great. That's great news. Why? We're currently at 21%. The president's proposing 28 to 29. His deal is at 25. That's incredible, great news. Let me pause on that for a second. The only thing that could have derailed Democratic vote approval of the forced stimulus package is the corporate tax rate. And the president said, you want it lower? I'll drop it lower. Deal. So that was great news. We also now have great news that the global tax rate that the president's proposing is far lower than where it is now, 15%. This is not legislation. This is just a proposal to world countries. Do you want to agree to drop your global minimum tax rate to 15% so that our American businesses won't fly overseas? And they so far are saying yes. There would be exceptions for smaller countries that can't afford a lower tax rate like that. Incredible, great news. Then the other really big jaw-dropping great news is that the Treasury yields continue to relatively remain flat. This is good because as we look at Treasury yields, we're always worried that it could impact your forced stimulus or derail any type of negotiations for forced stimulus. Treasury yields, the 10-year Treasury note, is one of those sort of scary economic instruments out there, and it's staying quiet. We like quiet. We don't like controversy. Especially when we're waiting for those stimulus checks to get to the finish line. And now that finish line could be coming sooner than ever. And that comes back to Jalapal, the news that's been really incredible this week. And more about that news hearing first time now on Noontime. That Jalapal letter written by two congressional leaders is absolutely incredible. What did Jalapal do and who is Jalapal? So Jalapal is one of the co-authors of the monthly stimulus check bill from the House. When Jalapal wrote the monthly stimulus check bills from the House, 100 plus Democratic House members wrote a letter to the president saying they're putting monthly stimulus checks in there. Then there was dozens of senators who are Democrats wrote the same letter on behalf of senators. Well, this week, Jalapal wrote a letter to Nancy and Chuck, which ostensibly said just one expression. Stop waiting for Republicans. Call the vote. We've been doing the two-bill, two-step, two-month process for a while. We're done drafting. Call the vote. Wow, this is incredible great news because suddenly there's a potential that maybe we can get this done in June, that we wouldn't have to wait to July. Remember, Speaker Pelosi and Leader Schumer's representations, the vote would be no later than July 4th. They never said that it couldn't be earlier. They said no later than July 4th. Wow, every month is a stimulus check. So could we get this out the door in June? Let's go over all the details. So Jalapal wrote that letter saying, get it done. Let's now see what other legislators said after Jalapal wrote that letter. So first came the incredible statement from Kristen Gillibrand, Democrat out of New York, which said, should they wait for Republicans any longer? Absolutely not, because we may lose our coalition for human infrastructure. I do not think the White House should relegate recovery of the judgment of Mitch McConnell because he will not function in good faith. I think it's a terrible political misstep. Then Representative Ruben Gallego said they're not being even players and we should just move along without them, referring to the Republicans. Then came the incredible great news from Representative Mark Pocan, who says, at what point do the Republicans seriously come back to the table? If Republicans don't come to the table, it doesn't mean Democrats don't serve the meal. And then Majority Whip Durbin says Democrats ought to have time to negotiations with the Republicans, but we need to go to reconciliation and finish it. And finally, Ro Khanna, the Democrat out of California, says, I think Democrats should move forward with the bill. Wow, incredible, great news. Now, here's what you need to know going into the weekend and need to know starting next week, is that the president will be doing a two-prong approach to the situation. He's not hiding it because he's actually said this. So this is what he's going to be doing. The Democratic leadership, the House and Senate, have been writing the reconciliation bill and are very on the cusp of calling it for a final vote. They don't want to wait another minute for the Republicans. Moreover, I think what in the back of my mind, and this is just my opinion, in the back of my mind, I think they think, you know what, just get it done. July, we go on vacation. We don't want to push it up on our vacation window. Get it done a few weeks ahead of time. I think that's what they're thinking. They don't like anything to interfere with their life. So I think why they may be pushing for late June is because they don't want it to interfere with just, packing their bags and going on their wonderful vacation to their mansions in Tahiti. So I just sort of sense that's what's going on. But the president, what is his timeline? His timeline is the following. As you know, Memorial Day is the end of May. Some people say, Memorial Day is in September. No, Memorial Day is the end of May. And the president's messaging is that he'll continue to have lunches with the Republicans up until Memorial Day. Have a lunch. Any counteroffer? No? Okay. No, I'm not moving. See you again tomorrow. Oh, anything new? No. Okay, see you again tomorrow. He's going to continue to do that where there's absolutely no progress with the Republicans, but do it for optics purposes only, for purposes of public perception, all the way up to Memorial Day. And then they're going to call the vote. The Democrats have already been writing the legislation and are finishing it up. They're not waiting for the Republicans. You would have to be crazy at this point to wait for the Republicans. Why? Because since I've been covering forced stimulus, the Republicans have moved $0 on their offer. It was $500 billion to start. It is still $500 billion to today. So there's obviously no reason why Democrats who are writing the legislation are waiting around. They're ready to call the vote. They want the president the opportunity to look like he's doing bipartisan support just a few more days to the late May, which is when Memorial Weekend is, not September, and then get it to a vote. So could we have stimulus checks in June? Oh, let's see. I don't know. It's getting very exciting. In the second half of this recording, we're going to go over more about fourth stimulus and also fifth stimulus. But first, here's a little bit about the community page. If you need money for rent, utilities, homeowners assistance, and internet, reach out to the volunteers. They're absolutely godsend. They are viewers just like you who have stepped forward to help you find that money. Where do you find the volunteers and the community page? The community page is in the description to this video. Open the description to this video. You will see an emoji of a house. That emoji of the house has next to it the word community page. And then it has a link to the webpage, news.lalate.com/community. It sends you to a web page with a picture of some cats on it. Down on that page are the volunteers. They're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Reach out to them, and they'll help you get that money if you're having problems finding it. And I'll be looking for you in 60 seconds from now as I return for more with Noontime LA. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Noontime LALATE. It's Friday afternoon. You made it to the weekend. Congratulations. I'm really excited you are tuning in. Where are you tuning in from? Drop in the comments where you're watching and how's the weather where you are. I love to always see where my viewers are tuning in. It's an incredible family, and I want you part of it. Subscribe right now. This is LALATE, the only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel. I'm live this weekend. I'm always live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. I don't want you to miss a single video across the board. Also, like this video, and if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Coming up this afternoon is Afternoons LALATE, followed by Evenings LALATE. Two big shows tonight, and you also followed by Late Night Crypto, which has been our big hit, and Evenings Crypto as well. Let me go to fifth stimulus and the real big exciting news that we're trying to sort through, and we are far from over sorting through this fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus has that interesting wrinkle that continue to get major changes across the board even this week, and we'll continue to see those changes this weekend and next week. What is the major issue? The major issue is that SSI and SSDI reform. Fifth stimulus heats up with a two-step, 2-month process. Just like fourth stimulus, the only difference of adding stimulus checks, they're going to be adding SSI and SSDI reform. And they'll be raising your benefit limits, removing the asset limit, adding inflationary benchmark, removing the income penalty, and removing the marriage penalty. Really incredible, great news. And let's get to the details on how that works. First, they're going to raise up your benefits one big time under fifth stimulus. That's you. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, SSA, or multiple benefits. Then they're going to apply an inflationary benchmark. Really incredible, great news. So now we have to understand how a benchmark works. What is a benchmark? Every December, you get a letter from your benefits that says next year your benefits will step up this amount of money or stay the same. Understand, benefits never step down. So your new benchmark is inflation. Let's say inflation is 0. You don't step down. You never step down. Let's say inflation is 50%. Then you would zoom up 50%. But what's important to understand is that inflation is that once you step up, you'll never step down. And that new step up is lifetime. So a week ago today, we had one major professor out of the Wharton School of Business say that the inflation rate would be 20%. That is incredible. Then this week, we also had the regional head of the Federal Reserve out of Atlanta saying that his growth tracker shows that we're currently at 4%, but we'll go to 10% this December. That's incredible because that's almost 200% increase from where we are now. And throughout this week, we've had analysts on broadcast news, one this yesterday and one this morning, says, you know what, it's not going to be 2%, but it may be all the way up to 6%. The consensus is starting to really land at 4 to 5% potentially in December. So if it's 4 to 5% inflation, wow, that's incredible great news for you lifetime for your benefits. Let's show how this happens. First, they're going to raise your benefits up for fifth stimulus. Then if the inflation is 5% in December, you would skyrocket an additional 5% and always stay there. And if the year after that it's 2%, you'll step up another 2%. It's incredible great news. This is the time and place to be tied to inflation because this is when inflation is going to go up a lot. You're not going to see inflation go up this much again, probably in a generation. And this is when you want to be tied to inflation. Incredible great news. Then they're going to remove the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't keep more than $3,000 on hand for some of you. It's going to go away, and it's time to go away because you're waiting for those stimulus checks. Fifth stimulus will also remove the income cap, dating back to a 1960s law that says you cannot work and stay on benefits. So if you want to work and make $1,000, $2,000 a month, you can and stay on benefits. And finally, the great news, the marriage penalty. The marriage penalty will go away so that you can finally get married to your love interest, which you haven't, because you would be losing your benefits. Love will win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love partner. Also, if you're currently on benefits and married, if you're currently married, you would no longer be the victim of the marriage penalty. Incredible, great news. So when does fifth stimulus heat up? In September, out the door in October, likely to impact your benefits in November. And remember that letter generally comes in December, about January. So just incredible, great news. That's fifth stimulus. That's fifth stimulus. And wow, what a line of items heating up. Now, what's also important to know is that people who have been asking me about unemployment, and let me give you a little bit of update about that in just a second. But first, let me circle back to fourth stimulus and the incredible great news about forced stimulus checks. Forced stimulus checks have really gotten a very clean bill of health in the last few weeks. As Republicans and Democrats, locally and nationally, legislators understand that stimulus checks are to get you caught up on past due bills. The economy is opening. The pandemic is over, is nearly over or almost over. And people are back at work, but they still got massive bills from the pandemic. The way you get rid of those bills is stimulus checks, not unemployment stimulus. And so that is why when you look at the Senate versus House proposal, the Senate proposal makes the most sense because it's a big cash infusion. $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000. Wow. Or $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400. Wow. That's per person. So husband and wife, double it. Household, 4 or less, quadruple it. And if you're on SSI and SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, you get it as well. This is why stimulus checks are getting such great press lately, because people understand. People are behind on bills, and they will not get caught up on bills unless they get a nice cash infusion. Fast, quick, now, and it's that. Incredible great news. Which now turns me to other types of stimulus. Early in this recording, I unfortunately told you that rental stimulus is going away. It's not coming back. They don't want it to come back because landlords need to get back to normal and renters need to get back to normal. So the concept is get you caught up on your past due rent bills and mortgage now, so go get it. And then they're going to get rid of the eviction moratorium and mortgage forbearance. With purposes of unemployment, the concept is still the same. And this is the breaking news that viewers have been asking me to talk about unemployment. My messaging has been the same, that states, I told you, where the governors are Republican are ending FPUC, and that the Democrats generally do not want to extend federal unemployment stimulus any longer. PEUC, PUA, and FPUC are going away and not coming back under forced stimulus. PUA may get revised in that standalone bill from Ron Wyden, which I've talked to you about before. He wants to add PUA into a lifetime program because there is no PUA. People who are unemployed from Macy's should get unemployment as much as people who are unemployed from Lyft. Independent contractors versus W-2 should both get unemployment if they need it 5 years from now. And his concept is not stimulus. His concept is fixing the program. It's incredible, great news. I love his bill. But here's what you need to know is that there's a new report out today, and this you're hearing for the first time on Noontime, which is that people have been asking me, how can states end my FPUC earlier? I said they can because states are given the option to elect to enter FPUC or not. It's not a requirement for a state to take FPUC. We saw that last year with LWA, where Florida ended LWA early and Arizona started it earlier. And states can just do things when they want to, when it's a elective optional program. Well, a new report says that the Biden administration and the Labor Department has been looking into whether the federal government can require states to stay on FPUC and not opt out of it. And the report, which is not on the record, but the report, which is expected to come out late today, is likely to say that the Department of Labor has determined it cannot force states to stay on FPUC if they don't want to. So that is no surprise. The great news, though, is that stimulus checks are heading to the finish line. The two-bill, two-step, 2-month process could be finished sooner than later. Ultimately, keep the motivation, keep the focus, and keep informed. I want you to get that big money from third stimulus landing now. In this recording, we went over fourth stimulus, fifth stimulus, and third stimulus. Get that money available for third stimulus right now. Stay focused on fourth stimulus, those monthly stimulus checks, and also stay focused on all the coverage on this channel about the inflationary rate, which will really will give a great big impact on your fifth stimulus when it comes this fall. Remember, fifth stimulus has a lot of other items in there for single individuals, hazard pay, retirees, seniors. It's not just for families. And if you remember, you have access every day to the PDF of what is in the fifth stimulus, what is in the fourth stimulus, and what is in the third stimulus. And with that, I'll look forward to seeing you on afternoons LALATE, followed by evenings LALATE, and then late night crypto and also overnight crypto. Stay informed, stay focused. Make sure you subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Next stop, 1 million. Let's do it. Like this video and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LALATE for more.